Welcome to the Talk Like a Leader podcast, where we explore the mindset, skill set, and habit set of leadership communication. Using these tips, techniques, and tactics, you'll be able to talk like a leader to build better relationships and get more done. Your host is Guy Harris, who has more than 20 years of combined professional and military experience in consulting, coaching, and training in areas like team and interaction dynamics, communication strategies and tactics, as well as emotional intelligence. Take it away, Guy.
Hi, this is Guy Harris. Welcome to the Talk Like a Leader podcast. This week's episode is titled Be at Peace, and it is the fourth of a 4-week series of episodes that derive their inspiration from the weeks of Advent. Now, in practice, Christmas of 2020 will have passed by the time this episode is released, and will be in the last few days of 2020, which is a year marked with, frankly, a steady stream of problems and challenges. And while I didn't plan it this way, I think it is sort of fitting to consider how to act and talk like a leader when you're confronted with challenges at the end of a year when we were confronted by problems and challenges. It is a bit late to consider these ideas for this year. Maybe it's a good reminder to prepare us for the challenges that we're all going to face in the future. See, the thing is with leadership, and while this year demonstrated it so well, it will always be true that there is trouble, there are problems, there are challenges in every leadership journey, in every organization. Things will go wrong, customers will be irritated, deadlines will be missed, people will be in conflict, systems will fail, deliveries won't happen, all sorts of things are going to happen. And the idea of be at peace is in opposition to a phrase that I learned in the Navy. The phrase that I learned in the Navy goes like this: when in trouble, when in doubt, run in circles, scream and shout. And what I'm suggesting is that's definitely what we don't want to do when we are faced with trouble as a leader. This week, as I'm recording this episode, not the week of release, but the week that I'm recording this episode, I happen to be involved in working on a website that has relatively high traffic, and something I did caused the whole site to crash. So I crashed the site with customers actively using the website at the moment. And in that moment of crisis, I found myself knowing that I had to calmly and logically and frankly sort of methodically work through the possible sources of the crash, the potential places that might be causing the system to fail, while at the same time my mind was freaking out. I had to work very hard to keep my mind calm and to objectively troubleshoot and look for sources of the problem so I could methodically solve it, while at the same time I was freaking out knowing that customers were trying to use the site and were getting error messages all over the place. It reminds me of a thought proposed by a Syrian slave in the Roman Empire. His name's Publius Syrus, and he was a writer in ancient Rome. He said that anyone can hold the helm when the sea is calm. This whole website issue reminded me of so many of the things we face in leadership, is that part of the role of leadership is remaining calm to help drive the team towards some kind of joint resolution to the problem, even when everything is crashing down around you. And that comes with the territory, basically. And I was working on this website, and if you work on a website long enough, it'll crash, and you'll be in a moment where you have to calmly troubleshoot while everything is going crazy. If you're in leadership long enough, you're going to run into a situation where everything has crashed, and you have to remain calm to navigate out. It comes with a job. So remember that anyone can hold the helm when the sea is calm, meaning that you're called on to be the person to hold the helm when the sea is not calm. And then to quote another Roman philosopher, actually Marcus Aurelius, who was the Roman emperor and a Stoic philosopher, he said that the first rule is to keep an untroubled spirit. The second is to look things in the face and know them for what they are. And so what he's saying is the idea that we have to keep our spirit untroubled even when things go wrong, and then to look them in the face. That harkens back a bit to things I've mentioned in the past, the whole Stockdale paradox idea, the idea of confronting the brutal reality and maintaining hope. I talked about that in a prior episode. And while the website story I told a few minutes ago is more about troubleshooting and problem solving than it is about leadership directly. I mean, frankly, I was at my desk by myself. So even if I had freaked out, no one would have seen it. It would have affected my mental capacity to troubleshoot the problem. It wouldn't have probably affected a person in my presence. The parallel is this, though, that leadership is really sort of an ongoing troubleshooting and problem-solving session. And that's the correlation, that in leadership, we're constantly troubleshooting and problem-solving and resolving conflicts and working with people to get over challenges and those kinds of things. And when I talk about being at peace, I'm not talking about being unemotional or not ever being excited about something. That's not what I'm saying. What I am talking about is remaining calm and forward thinking rather than being panicked and anxious. I'm talking about modeling the type of let's solve this behavior and attitude that calms your team and helps them remain unrattled when things aren't going well. I'm talking about awareness of your body language, your tone, your voice volume. I think you've experienced it, that people pick up on your emotional state. You pick up on other people's emotional state, and it affects you. Think about a time when you've been with someone who starts feeling anxious. You start to feel anxious. I know that in moments when things aren't going well, my wife is feeling frustrated, and it's just the two of us in the house. I can pick up on that energy, and I start to feel anxious myself. Imagine that you're on an airplane and you're in a rapid descent. It feels like things aren't going great. Don't you want the captain to come on the intercom system and calmly tell you what's going on and how they're handling it? I mean, if you heard the captain freaking out on the intercom, would it help you? Well, probably not. You want the captain to be calm and know what you're doing, know what they're doing, and know how to navigate out of this problem. So remember that you're the captain of your team, and you, frankly, can set the emotional temperature of the team by how you engage with them. If you appear freaked out, they'll be freaked out. If you appear calm, they'll probably be calm, regardless of the situation. Now, Ralph Sockman was an American pastor, and he served from 1916 to 1961. And he was on the national radio pulpit from 1928 to 1962. So he's no longer with us. He did have great influence and was a well-respected preacher, teacher during the middle part of the last century. And he said, a man has no more character than he can command in a time of crisis. It's back to kind of the Publilius Syrus idea. Anyone can hold the helm when the sea is calm. Or as Ralph Sockman said, a man has no more character than he can command in a time of crisis. The idea is this: we demonstrate our leadership ability in a crisis, not in the calm. And so when there's a crisis, you want to remain calm and at peace, knowing that you're going to find a resolution to this. Going back to some of the things we said before, maintaining hope that it's going to be okay despite the current challenge. And I quote a British soldier and military historian who served in World War I and World War II. His name's Sir Basil Littlehart. It's not widely known. Maybe in British military circles he is, but a lot of the rest of the world he's not. He said, keep strong if possible. In any case, keep cool. And that summarizes the main idea I hope to get across in this week's episode, that we want to keep strong if possible, and in any case, keep cool. We want to be at peace as a leader. Again, that doesn't mean not emotional. It doesn't mean unemotional. It means at peace, confident that you will find a solution, confident that you and your team can solve the current scenario no matter what has happened, so that you can set the stage, set the temperature of your team to stay in problem-solving mode rather than freaking out mode. If you can do that, you can talk like a leader. This has been the Talk Like a Leader podcast. You can listen to this show every week wherever you get your podcast. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I'm Guy Harris, and thanks for listening.